G'day champions. Got a Charvel electric here, which is in a bit of a state. So here's the before shots. It's just a lot of rust all over everything. He's replacing the pickups. I'm waiting for them to arrive. Set of Damasio's, various types. That bridge, we'll want to keep it original. Actually, this is pretty funny. You can see down in there they've just put the screws straight on the ball ends. So I've quoted for a new set of blocks, and we'll install the strings properly next time. So all this hardware I'll take apart, and the non-coated parts anyway, the screws, I'll soak in WD-40 and see if we can maybe neutralise the rust a little bit, and try and reuse them, clean up the threads maybe if required, and just degunge the thing, just fully disassemble it and get it as clean as we can. As for the fretboard, the whole thing's just covered in like mildew. It's been a pretty crappy year for instruments. They've been exposed to a lot of humidity. We're just entering our third La Nina year, which is, I think it's only happened since 1990 that we've had 3 in a row. So lots of rain, colder than usual temperatures, and that's not real good for mold growth on timber. And most of the hardware looks okay. Like once we clean up the rust and just give everything a great clean, that's going to be 90% of the work there, I think. The machine heads, tuning machines, seem to still be in good condition. No seizing or anything like that. All the nylon washers are still present, which is surprising. Even the frets are showing pretty minimal wear, like barely any notching. So providing they're all glued down nicely, we should be able to polish them up rather nice. Check for any high spots, that kind of thing. So the whole body's got like this mildew sort of film on it too, but that should polish off okay. There's no major damage, a couple of little dents and stuff like you'd expect. It's a workhorse instrument, so I think it'll clean up real nice. So yeah, I'm mainly doing this video just to show sort of before and after of how damn amazing it can be. And just to look at the rear, it's in pretty good condition too, just a little bit of scuffing but nothing major. Just sort of a reasonably well cared for instrument actually, except for the last couple of years when it's just been put away and forgotten about, so that's when the mold growth occurs. But I think it'll be a very satisfying job to do. So here I'm just using a water-based solvent to dissolve the finger cheese and shmoo that collects on the fretboard over the years. It's also helping to soften up any residue on the frets, so when I'm removing the corrosion there's less gummy crap. You can see here I'm using a bit of Scotch-Brite. I'm using the fret guard so I don't scratch the fretboard face. So I had to actually use a red Scotch-Brite here, which is a pretty aggressive grade of Scotch-Brite. Generally we work our way down to the grey colour, and then possibly move to a 2000 grit if we're going for a high shine. Here the budget was a consideration, so we were just basically removing the corrosion and just giving them a bit of a shine, but not going overall to a like mirror polish that you'd get after I did a refret job or something like that. We just wanted to get rid of the corrosion and make the frets have smooth action and get the best playability for the least sort of monetary input. So we've got a bit of what looks like gaff tape residue there, so a bit of shellite, which is known in the States as naphtha. It's, you know, the Zippo lighter fuel, and it comes off pretty easy and it doesn't hurt the finish. It's pretty safe to use on nitro as well. Just end up with the leftover residue. We'll clean off with a cleaner rag. Getting there. Like I said, elbow grease. Here we go. Now all the electronics are removed. This is the big pile of stuff. Most of it going in the bin. Putting new pots, new switch. Reuse the knobs and stuff. And we'll clean up the bridge. And replace the string locking blocks. Yeah, all of the other stuff can go back to the customer in a little bag. So, for just buffing the finish, I've got this stuff, swirl remover. That's just some of decanned it into a little bottle. Comes in a, I don't know, 1 litre bottle or something. So just a touch of that. It's sort of like tomato sauce, doesn't come out till it wants to. Just a few little specks of that. Got a polish rag that's got some polish compound on it still. Just spread it out with that. And then a cleaner rag to take off the excess. That's much better. The quickest and easiest way to clean the headstocks, just remove the machine heads, and it's come up very nice. Its owner's not going to recognise this thing. The frets have polished up okay. We just did like a Scotch-Brite through the grades, and then, because like the corrosion was pretty thick, fair bit of pitting, and then just went through the grades, and then finished off with some automotive, well, some mag and aluminium polish from Mother's. This stuff works rather well on many different alloys, including fret wire. I've just got the polish compound dry-ish on there. I'll just buff the rest of that off. And there you go. Doesn't even look like the same guitar, does it? And we'll pop some oil on the fretboard, see how that comes up. Probably give it a fair while to soak, considering how long it's been dry for, so it gets right into the grain. Now a lot of the manufacturers, they just buff, like on a big buffing wheel, all the frets at once without masking the timber. So the white little speckles you see in the grain there, that's actually polish compound from the factory all those years ago. Just stuck in the grain, and then they buff off the excess and send her out. You see that on like Epiphones and stuff too, the sort of lower end guitars, and the timber almost has like a lacquer type look to it because it's actually been buffed along with the frets. So I'll see how I go with a bit of shellite and a toothbrush, see if we can get a little bit more out of that grain so it gets a nice deep rosewood look. So I guess there's nothing left to do but pour myself a little shot. Get the toothbrush onto it. So it's sort of working slowly. What I might do is give it a bit more of a soak. You can see there where I haven't done it at all. It's quite a bit more sort of white in the grain. It's starting to come out here, so a little bit more effort required. Well, this is a bit frustrating. I've removed all the saddles from the bridge, and we've got a set of 3 that are about 9.8 mil. Then we've got a pair that are like 9.2 mil. And then we've got one that someone's ground down. So we can't really do much with that. There's not much left on it, and it doesn't match the height of any of the others. So you want 3 pairs. The outer 2 the lowest, the middle 2 the highest, and the ones either side of them intermediate. So I'll see what heights I've got in the spare parts. I do stock these, the Floyd Rose style ones, both in Floyd Rose and generics, and I'll see if I've got some heights that we can only replace. Like, I think we can get away with replacing 2 of them if we make it all work. And here we have it, champions. She's nice and clean. You know, occasional scuffs and marks with a well-played guitar, but that's battle scars. Should be proud of them. We've got new string blocks in the tram there. Shimmed a couple of those saddles to get the consistent radius matching the neck, which is often overlooked in these guitars, or in many Floyd Rose guitars, by people who supposedly set them up. We've got the Damasio distortion, super distortion in the bridge there, the Pro Track and the chopper in the neck. And we've just cleaned up the frets. The frets actually aren't bad, a little bit notchy up the top, but they've still got plenty of meat on them. So we just took the corrosion off it with Scotch-Brite, and then gave them a quick hand polish. All the mould off the fretboard, it's had a few drinks of orange oil now, and she's looking nice. The machine heads, we took them all off, individually cleaned them, got rid of the sort of oil bleed residue that comes out and then gets dust stuck to them and looks pretty dull, so we individually cleaned them. Headstock came up nice, truss rod was good, the truss rod cover's okay, and the neck's actually really fast on this one. She's a bit of a gem. Redid the electronics, got 2 new Burns pots in there and a new CRL switch, just straightforward, you know, 5-way wiring on this one, no coil tapping or anything fancy, and she's a shred machine that lives to fight another day. Here's the rear view. The cover for the electronics there, I shielded that, did a little bit of extra shielding in there to keep it nice and quiet, being for the sort of high gain end of town. There's the view of the neck. Won't chuck a few Allen keys in there, it's just a little complimentary thing courtesy of Brad's Guitar Garage. But yeah, jobs like this are really satisfactioning. They're really fun to do. I love bringing stuff back from the dead. It's so satisfying. And a lot of other people love it too. You see the tool restoration channels where they, on YouTube, get a bench vise or something from the, you know, the 20s that's been buried in mud and they restore it. People get millions of views for that stuff because it's so satisfying to see something that was otherwise worthless live to be a piece of world-class gear again. And that's the case with this one. So I love doing these ones. The videos, the before and after, are pretty satisfying to watch as well. So the next one we'll get on to is this one. A considerably lower budget guitar. That's a PV Raptor. But once again, that will get someone back into playing guitar, possibly their kids as well. We will make it as good as we can make it. And might have to refresh my tetanus shots for this one and maybe wear a pair of gloves. And clean off that fretboard as well. Yeah, I love bringing stuff back from the dead, me. So I'll see you on the next one, and might do some more sort of like time-lapsey videos of restoration work. Something, because I know you guys have like a 3-second attention span, so don't we all these days? So maybe we'll do some time-lapse ones just showing from go to woe, like fretwork, that kind of thing, just so you know what's involved in the process. So see you on the next one, champions. Have a bloody good one, whatever you're doing. Rock on.